Ah, attendez, parce que je vais... Attendez, parce qu'il y a mon aide-soignant qui est pas... Est-ce que vous pouvez m'aider? Ouais, voilà. C'est de... Non, ah non,
visiblement, ça ne marche pas.
Attends.
Eh ouais. Père Patrick, vous n'avez pas perdu la main?
Est-ce que vous pouvez couper le... Ah!
On va regarder un sujet sur la...
I don't know how many years on this earth I got left. I'm gonna get real weird with it.
Hi there!
Don't judge me, this is art!
It looks like he may commit suicide. Suicide is badass.
Put a chicken in, make her gay!
The fuck is that? Bigfoot. Oh man, look at him.
Come on, you motherfucker! Ah, shit! God damn it! Same shit, different day!
One last thing. If you have any drugs or any alcohol, give me some.
Okay, we're live again.
Hi, everybody.
I've been doing, well, considering how much I've been on reality based, I've been doing a lot of streaming. Well, for me anyway, I'm not used to, I'm not a streamer, But when I go on there, they kind of have a earpiece falling out. Kind of have a pre-stream, chat and a after stream chat. And we're on there for like 3 hours. So that's about 18 hours a week that I'm streaming now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, compared to others, that's not much at all.
Yeah, these motherfuckers will sit on their ass like they have an ass made of stone, I don't know how they do it. And some of them sit there 6 hours straight streaming. I'm like, don't you need circulation? Don't you need a walk?
Don't they have to pee? I mean, really, don't they got to go to the bathroom or anything? But to be honest, I remember playing Dungeons and Dragons online, and those fuckers, they would sit on the damn game running all the dungeons all day long. I mean, not taking a break for anything.
Yeah, I'm having a cigarette, and I don't do that often. But getting everything ready to make sure all your hardware works for a set time stream can be a little nerve-wracking. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna have one.
Yeah, and I gotta get my dogs in order so they don't scream on the stream.
Yeah, well, the Dungeons and Dragons Online is a semi MMO, and these MMOs, I mean, they'll suck your soul away.
Yeah, I know. I remember playing World of Warcraft.
I'd be like, MMO or smoke, and I'm gonna give them a fucking cigarette. They don't need to get on that MMO shit.
Well, I know I've spoke about Conquer before, but it wasn't really an MMO, but that game was addictive. You could quit smoking easier than you could quit playing that game at the time. And that's the truth. I mean, I don't know what it was. I guess it was the sheer thought of vengeance. You had to have vengeance on the other players because when they killed you, they took all your shit. So, and the shit you had was not easy to get. So Yeah, you'd get pissed off and go kill everybody in the game.
Well, you know, I've gotten in the habit of tagging some people before the show, you know, and sending out you know, the fuck ever you call it on YouTube. And I don't know if that's in bad taste or not. So if it is, let me know. I don't want to be annoying like that.
Oh, Lavistra played WoW too. We
Okay.
fought the Lich King, remember? Remember we fought the Lich King? We fought the Lich King by ourselves. We
Well, yeah,
went through
but
that whole dungeon by
it,
ourselves.
it was right after Wrath of the Lich King that I quit playing. And I mean, the game had just gotten too toxic, and a big part of it was because it had gotten so popular.
Yeah, yeah. But the guild said, "Oh, it cannot be done. You can't go through that dungeon just you and one other player."
Well,
It's
yeah,
like,
you
fuck
know,
that
I'd
shit.
gotten
We're
to
doing
be,
it anyway.
I would play these MMOs, and you know, they always min max. They always like went for full on all out power, glass cannon, you know, maximum speed, get through as quick as they could. And it's like, oh fuck, I play for fun, not stress and frustration. So I got to playing these MMOs solo and soloing the whole damn thing. And I'm like, why don't I just play offline games?
Yeah, it'd make more sense.
The number one reason I didn't play more offline games is because I need something that me and her can play together. And most of these offline games are single player. Also,
Oh,
I have very particular taste. I don't like cutesy stuff. I'm not in the anime style. You know, I have very particular taste.
but when you and me play a game together, it's like it's like Mystery Science Theater 3000 playing a video game. It's kind of like that because I'm the one that always gets murdered. I'm always the one that gets.
So, Levistro says he prefers single player RPGs to MMOs, and I actually I do too. I mean, I got hooked on MMOs because at first the community was fun. You know, like I remember in WoW, there was like thousands of gnome players dropping off a big ledge in order to spell out a word, and you know, you get entertaining things like that, right? You'd get a whole bunch of people dancing in one spot, and it'd be, you know, absurd almost, right? You know, and you had these fun moments, which you get less and less of now.
Yeah. I remember the gnome races in World of Warcraft.
Yeah, and then, you know, after a while, you didn't have any more of that. You just had people yelling slurs and saying they'd kill your family, and you know, and it's like, I don't need this. And it'd be like, oh, what's your gear score? What's your gear score? And I was just, oh fuck this bullshit, you know.
Well, I remember I started out on the side of the Alliance, but then I switched to the Horde side because they had those oh, what were goblins? Yeah, goblins, and I could ride around in my little go kart, my goblin.
I remember the first time WoW got voice support, you know, built in the game, and the first player I encountered who was using a voice sounded just like Kermit the Frog.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, yeah. He was. We were all running from the monster in the dungeon. You know, everybody called her Big Bertha, but he said, I can't make it go any faster. I can only go so fast." But the way he said it, he sounded just like Kermit the Frog, and we had to mute our mics and stuff because everybody was laughing so hard. We didn't mean to be ugly, but it was just funny.
You know, I'm tempted to offer Levistro to come on the show and talk.
Okay.
What do you think, Levistro?
Yeah.
There's always a delay between us talking and it broadcasting to the chat. So, oh, he says he never made it through Big Bertha. Ooh, that just sounds all kinds of ways.
Well, see, we had a system. We had a system.
Okay. I don't know. Are you on Central Time? Because my stream will be done by 10, roughly 10, give or take. Probably not. I usually don't go on more than like 2 hours, 5 minutes at the most. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do while I send him out an invite.
Yeah.
I want you to read this and discuss it just for a moment.
Okay, just let me hang on. I got to get my eyes together. All right, let's see. Rocksteady reveals Arkham Batman isn't dead in Suicide Squad. Kill the Justice League as Dev scrambles to rewrite its $2 million disaster. Okay. If they didn't make it bad in the first place, it wouldn't have been a $2 million disaster. And I think, they get too caught up in all of this bullshit, basically. And we did when we did the other stream talking about the game developer not knowing what the players want. Bullshit. That's why this is a $2 million disaster, because nobody listens to the people that actually plays the game.
Remember what they did with Mr. Freeze?
Yeah.
They made him Mrs. Tranny Freeze.
Yeah, I know, and I just And the Joker, don't even get me started on the Joker. I mean, really, they're just all kind of crazy now. I have a question for you. What was that Batman game you were playing about a week ago? And I noticed that it was really good.
I started playing the same one that Levistro was playing. I believe so anyway. Arkham Origins, I think it was.
Oh, okay. Well, that game was really nice. It looked really nice. I like the way when you jump down off of the balcony with the bats all flying around down in the cave. That was neat. I like that part. So, yeah, I think I don't know. I just these games and stuff now, I wish a bunch of gamers would get together, and if they had enough and start like a GoFundMe, to where they could start their own gaming company and create good games for a change, because we desperately need them.
Okay, Levistro, I'm having a hard time finding your name. It didn't want to let me send you anything on X, and I'm having a hard time finding it on Discord.
Oh. But that's what I think. I think if a bunch of gamers, people that play games like a lot, if they got together to create a game, then I think it could be a damn wonderful game. Because, okay, for example, Guild Wars 2, when it first started out, it was a really great game. But as time went on, they started slipping in the DEI stuff into it, and now basically it's dress up. And I quit playing it because you've got, for every different continent, land that you go in, there's a different currency, and then your bag space gets too full, and you don't know what to do with all of the stuff that you got. And there's mastery points and all kinds of different achievements that you can get.
Okay, now to get a little bit back on track, Rocksteady reveals Arkham Batman isn't dead in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League as Dev scrambles to rewrite $200 million disaster. The damage is done, and this attempt at retconning the narrative only highlights Rocksteady's failure to respect the legacy of the characters and the expectations of its audience when it threw in with narrative design firm Sweet Baby Inc. Now, this is a little clip that is telling about the way they're retconning the story. Like, oh, all those they killed were clones.
Oh, okay.
So we faded our butts into Brainy's lair, and he was steamed. But guess who else showed up?
Brenda, that's enough. Kryptonian, you're indubitably too disco-populated to fight. Don't you know, Brainiac? Anything's possible with a little help from your friends.
Thought he meant us for a second, but of course he meant bats. Ow! That says the criminals. That's us. Did well following his plan. So how'd we figure out Brady had cloned the League? We were like, there were clones? Anyway, we totally laid it out. If we took him back, Walla would make them into even bigger tools. More importantly, she'd totally 86 us. Soup said the League needs to atone for everything that happened, starting with freeing all the folks Brainy tentacle wrapped, then putting as many worlds right as they can. As for us, we had a plan too. Did I mention the Wonder Trio of Hack, Lawless, and Toy Boy shorted out our bombs? That's important for the next part. At the end of the day, this squad sticks together. Why not do it out there in the Elseworlds instead of a freaking prison block? Road trip! Don't you love a happy ending? Even Walla gets to say she saved the world. And she will. If she knows what's good for her. Suicide Squad out!
Okay, and now I welcome to the stream the Purple Dragon Levistro.
Hello.
Hi, Levistro.
How y'all doing tonight?
Oh, we're fine.
So, Levistro, you seen that clip, right?
Yes.
You get what they're getting at. You get what they're getting at with all this.
Kinda. I was logging in when I heard it in the background, but I wasn't paying attention until the very end.
Okay, essentially, the company made Suicide Squad. You know, they used to make great games. They are now trying to retcon the story and say the heroes that died were clones.
Yeah, after they realized they really screwed up, they're trying to but that's the thing DC and Marvel, unfortunately, as well, has done for the past few days. Well, DC's done it first. I remember when I was in 4th grade, they had like all these alternate realities, and Wally West was supposed who was the Flash at that time. I think it was Wally West. Was the Flash at that time. They had to tear apart Evil Flash to reset the whole timeline. It's been so long. I remember all I remember was I was still in elementary school, but DC has always been fucking up with the multiverse timeline.
Yeah,
and
that
Marvel
may have
had the
been
great idea to do it.
The Flashpoint arc. It may have been that.
Possibly, yes. All I remember, I was still a kid, and most of because of my brain injury, most of my childhood memories are scatterbrained.
Oh, I know the feeling. I mean, I probably haven't had injuries like you, but I've had my head busted open like I forget how many times. More than half a dozen.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm sure I have some issues from that.
Yeah, that's my excuse in case someone says, "Hey, Levistro doesn't know what he's talking about. He's fixing it all up." Yeah, that's why it's called psychotic. Yeah, no,
It's like an ICP line. They like you till they find out you're unstable.
Yeah, but they're trying to cover their bacon. They're hoping to save this because they were hoping to have the golden goose. Everybody wants these shooter looters and everything else because it's the golden goose. Kids will eat them up. My son wants to play Fortnite and Minecraft. Well, he decided to use my card, and he's only 9, to download this awesome Chernobyl recreation map for Minecraft. And I got this notification on my phone saying, yeah, you just downloaded 5 certain amount of Minecraft coins, this and that. And I'm like, well, he was grounded for a while, and I told him, you ain't playing Fortnite. So now my fault is I forgot to take out my credit card information off the Nintendo Switch, so that's on me. But he did know he's not allowed, like we talked about, in case that ever happened. I was like, in case you want this stuff, you have to ask my permission. I said, why didn't you ask my permission? He says, you would say no. I was like, damn right I'll say no, because it's what happens if they take the Minecraft server down. It's not saved on your Nintendo, it's saved in the server on another area of the planet.
Yeah, this is the issue I have with playing MMOs. I know one day they'll just up and poof, gone, and that's it. And the best you're gonna have is some foggy memories of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, there's one MMO I wish that would go away, and we play it. Dungeons and Dragons Online. That game is a broken mess.
I love the game, but I don't like how decrepit it's become and how the players tend to play it now.
They're all speedrunners.
I'm gonna finish reading some more on this article here. Harley Quinn shooting the Arkhamverse Batman portrayed by the late Kevin Conroy point blank. It wasn't just a jarring narrative choice. It felt like an insult to the character in the franchise, and we all know that's true. Instead of meaningful narrative arc, the updates felt like disjointed add-ons aimed at milking whatever audience remained with an effeminate Joker and a gender-swapped Mrs. Freeze who looked like a high school gym teacher. That's a real picture from the game there.
That doesn't look like my high school gym teacher. My high school gym teacher looked like, a cross between Rambo and a fat Italian plumber.
My teacher looked like John Wayne.
Oh, God.
And I talk like it too a little bit, only he was meaner. The game's final cutscene, if you can call the illustration panels a cutscene, reveals that the Justice League members killed by the Squad were actually clones, a plot hatched by Batman to trick Brainiac. This revolution, delivered nearly a year after game's launch, reeks of desperation, as if Rocksteady is trying to say, just kidding, don't be mad, but fans aren't laughing.
Well, first off,
I'm sure
there's
a part of me that's laughing a little bit.
Yeah. There's a part, like, for me, when they say this elaborate plot by Batman, it's like, that doesn't sound like a Batman plot. Batman's plot,
no, it doesn't.
Like when he had a plan to kill every member of the Justice League, everything was well thought out. That's what Batman is. I would expect this from the Joker.
I'd hate to have a friend like that. They plot everyone around them how to kill them. We have Sergeant Giratina here in the chat.
Hi, Sarge.
Yeah, I was on that stream.
Hey,
DA's nightcap. You know the DA. You know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's this black dude, but he does a good show, right? And oh fuck, does that ever make me sound racist? But he does a good show. That's not how I meant it. But anyway, yeah, I was there. Sergeant was there. I tuned out after a while. I don't know if I recall the shills, but yeah, okay, I remember one. Yeah, I get where he's going with that. Okay, this isn't just a story of a failed game. It's a cautionary tale about what happened when a studio prioritizes trends over quality. Contracting Sweet Baby Inc., known for injecting divisive creative decisions. Yeah, let's not forget, Sweet Baby Inc. was the cause for a lot of this.
Oh, Sweet Baby Inc. needs to crawl back under the rock where it came from.
That's gonna take a while. They'll do right now. They're going into survival mode because people are realizing they're basically damaged goods, bad for their brand, and so they've asked to have their names removed. But now they're going under because now it's the woke is not the hot newness now.
What a lot of people aren't
freshness.
realizing is how many other companies that's just like them and possibly worse that are going, and people aren't mentioning them anymore. There's so many other consultant companies that, that's crawling in every corner of the, media and the whole gaming industry.
When I was studying game design, I had to choose what area I wanted to go into. So I talked to a couple of game devs, and the reason I'm pinching is one of them was Stig Austin, and he worked on the God of War series. But I asked him, like, how do I know which to choose? Can I just do, can I be a master volley? He says, no, you need to be the code ninja or the master writer or this or that. He says everyone's trying to be the jack of all trades, but the thing about it is you're a master of none, and we need the master of one trade. And so a lot of these people that built their own companies, they're what he called the idea guy. This is before all this came out, before the creation of Sweet Baby Ink, all this stuff. This is how long ago this was on. I talked to him. He says everybody has an idea. They go and see a game developer and says, I have an idea for a game, maybe we should make it. Problem is, an idea is a dime a dozen. But if no one goes through it and they'll actually go through the work of creating the game, they don't have the high concept, they don't have the elevator pitch, they don't have the game design document.
That's one thing that makes the Unreal Engine unfortunate. It's still not easy, but it's an easier entry for these people to get into gaming, which means there's going to be a lot more crap products being made.
Well, actually, no. And the reason I'm saying that is I use Unreal Engine. A lot of people that say they're game developers, to your credit, are people who have downloaded Unity or Unreal Engine or some other engine in general that they can get because all these engines are free. And they'll say, I is game developer now. But very few of them actually have produced or developed the game. And when you use Unreal Engine, you're still going to need someone that makes the models. You're still going to need someone that can do the animations. Like when the game I'm making, it's an open world game, but with one person. I've been working on this game for 9 years, and I'm not even done with the first act of the game. So I'm not saying I give up, but I'm putting that off to the side for now because I haven't been able to play a video game for a long time. I haven't been able to do anything. And the reason being is there are people that can make crap games on there, yes, but they're not going to be able to sell them. That's the thing, is you still have to have a good package, right? When you go to a store, right, are you going to choose the package that's all crumpled up? Or are you going to use the one that pick up the package that's all has the nice, fresh, brightly labels and stuff like that? You still got to dress it up. Got to put the makeup on it. Got to put it in a nice dress and all that other stuff. So gamers will know what a crap game is over a quality game. But when it comes to AAA, they had the funds and the training because they're not game designers. They're marketing experts. They're told unlike a game designer, they're told in interviews, sell me my pencil. So if they get their job by selling the corporation's pencil back to them, then they can sell crap. If that makes sense.
I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, we are seeing a market flooded with more crap games with a woke agenda. So, they have people that will now put money behind these crap products simply for virtual signaling. So there is that.
Yeah, and then also look at what happened with the video game crash of 1984.
Yeah, I've thought about that.
But it was an oversaturation of market, and most of those games weren't quality. They were just pumping out games,
and we're on the brink of that happening again.
Yeah, and then no one played video games for about 4 or 5 years. People that had people that were still avid gamers still had their collections. The arcades were still popular, but the console, like the Atari, the Commodore, and all that stuff, no one was making them. Those sorts would sell them. And the only way Nintendo could get the NES, which saved gaming, by the way, Nintendo saved gaming, was instead of marketing it as a video game console, they marketed it as a toy. Hence why the Western world views video games as toys.
And they also threw on that entertainment system onto it for anybody that
the original
happened to
name
look
was
at it
Famicom.
another way.
Yeah, I think it was originally was Famicom, I believe.
Yeah, in Japan it was Famicom.
They tried to sell that here, and then most people were like, "Nope."
Yeah, unless I'm mistaken, before Nintendo did video games, I think they had a restaurant and they did playing cards, and they went into different markets, and eventually they found their way into video games. And that was back in the day when they'd like print their own boards and all such as that.
Yeah, it was one of their factory workers that created this thing called the Game and Watch Gallery. I forget his name, but he died in a car wreck shortly after GameCube, I believe.
And Donkey Kong was actually meant to be called Monkey Kong.
Yep. And people don't realize that Mario's original name isn't Mario, it's Jumpman.
Oh yeah. I believe I've heard that one. And there's a scene in the Super Mario Brothers where he's flipping people off, or one of the characters is anyway. And it was eventually revealed that that's what it was supposed to be. You go back that far, there's all kinds of interesting trivia and all such interesting facts. It's a rabbit hole for sure, which you don't get so much of in today's gaming scene.
Yep.
And so I'm gonna share this here. Now, this is not video game related directly, but I'll get to it. It is indirectly. Philadelphia Eagles band fan who hurled vile insults at woman cheering for Packers during playoff game. Play this little clip.
After reviewing the play, the runner was short of the goal line. They got one more yard now. They're close. Okay, well, don't call her a dumb cunt. She's an ugly dumb cunt. Cool. Yup.
All right, then. You know what she should have done? She should have turned around and knocked the hell out of him.
Okay, that man, he got a ban from the, I'm not a sports person, but he got a ban from, I guess, the sporting events. Now I'm going to go on to how it's video game related, or I don't know. I mean, technically it might not be video game, but it's something that we generally cover.
That's all good.
Eagles fan who hurled vulgar insults at Packers supporter fired from DEI-focused consulting job. Now, I don't have any more information on it than that, but yeah. So these people all up into DEI don't believe in it. They don't follow it. I would imagine they're yes men. They're fence sitters. They're going with the flow. They're doing what they have to do to save their ass, especially if they're middle-aged white men.
Well, it's like we said for the past 10 years. It's always rules for thee, but not for me. And so they don't. It's kind of like the fiefdoms of the Middle Ages. Peasants can't have to avert their eyes from their betters. The nobles can do whatever they want. They could gamble. They could have first rights and not be considered grape or cheating, all that other stuff. But if a peasant does it, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying if a peasant doesn't, they're the ones punished. That's one of the reasons why America decided to be a republic, because they wanted a rule of law so everyone's accountable. Now, over the years, over the past few decades, that's been changing, obviously. But that's what they want. They want that ultimate power say, "Oh, I'm the exception, not the rule."
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of people who's just out there. They're fearful and they're trying to get by, and then you get the brainwashed ones. The ass lickers. They'll go hook, line, and sinker with it full on, and they'll preach the word of it. Now, I want to hear what Elijah has to say on it.
Well, I think that this oh boy. So this man had a job in a DEI company, and he's calling this woman a dumb cunt. Yeah, he needs his ass whooped. She needs to whoop his ass.
Now, from what limited information we have on it, she seemed to be mostly minding her business. On what happened before that moment, I can't say. I don't know, but she didn't right off appear to be the aggressive type like we tend to see in media. And unfortunately, so it's usually a black woman. I mean, not always, but it oftentimes is. And you could tell by the looks on their faces how their attitude's gonna be. You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the clip, the woman was minding her own business, trying to watch a ball game.
She seemed to be more of a passive type, just from appearances.
Yeah. There's some women out there that would have whooped his ass and not even felt bad about it
Or got their
doing
husband
that.
to do it. I mean, in the UK, they'll say "see you next Tuesday" like it's water under a bridge. But here, you tell them like one of my friends, he's Scottish, but he's still originally from the UK, and he says that, and when we're smoking and joking on the weekends, and everyone in the neighborhood is wincing because it's not something we say out here. So I'm just surprised no one has gone up and whacked his ass.
Well, if it'd been in the South, it wouldn't be like, don't talk to that woman that way. It'd been
Oh no, I'm in the South, dude. Just people are just thinking it back because they know because he's not but he doesn't say it directly to a woman. He just says it, if that makes sense, when he's talking. So we're like blinking. We're like most of the married guys are looking over their shoulder to make sure their wives didn't hear it, and then he keeps going. So we're trying to tell him, like, you're not like pulling it down a little.
Well, I will say it depends on where you are in the South. I'm in more country South, where people are a little quicker to violence and all the time more angry. Now, I've been around different parts of the South, for that matter, North and other places, but I'm speaking of the South. And in the country, they're quicker to action for sure.
Oh yeah, no, the country, yeah, definitely, they're quicker.
Could you imagine if that had been us there and your mother there, and he say that to your mother, what she would do to him? Oh my God!
It wouldn't be a fucking time.
The police and the ambulance would be called.
I took that fucker apart. I'm telling you, I took him apart.
My mom's
after she got done with him.
So before my dad, who's Scottish, like full blown Scottish, but born in Scotland, raised here, kind of Scottish. But anyways, my mom, who's a Comanche, would have already had his ass knocked out before my daddy could even get out of his chair. You don't mess with the Comanche. Like, that's just, we're known for our tempers. But yeah. I'm just surprised no one stepped up. But maybe that's because of social media. Everyone's always quick saying, "Oh, I want that viral content for my thing." Everyone wants to be a content creator. Everybody wants to make it big, get their 5 minutes of fame. I'm not saying it's bad to be a content creator. We're all doing it. I mean, otherwise I'm a hypocrite. I'm saying there's a time and a place for content, right? Like in that case, back in the day, if someone said that, if a man said that to a woman, there'd be 5 to 10 men already on his ass, pulling him away from her.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Well,
so that's my personal opinion on that. Like, me personally, if I would have saw that, that's what I would have done. And people say, "Oh, it's easy to sit there in an armchair." This, and that's like, no, that's I'm known for doing that. Ask
anybody that really knows me They're afraid to take me anywhere because they know how I can be.
We can't take you no place. No, but that's what I don't understand about all these people. They see things that happen, like, okay, for example, you'll get people filming a pit bull eating somebody, and they won't put their phone down long enough to help them, or they'll see somebody beating the crap out of somebody, you know, and put the
Just there
phone
with
down
their
and help the
fucking
people.
phone. Just there with their fucking phone. You know,
Yeah.
talking their shit.
Yeah. And it's just, it's not right. It's not right, because more people should be willing to take a stand and help other people than they are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna bring up the next topic here. And like I said in the last stream, issue, because I have issues.
Well, this isn't therapy.
Do I ever have the issues? But anyway, original D&D designer Blast Paizo, I guess that's how he said. Paizo director's comment trying to push conservatives out of gaming as antisocial. Paizo came under scrutiny after one of their game designers implied Republicans, conservatives should not be allowed to play their games. Now Dungeons and Dragons creator Robert Kuntz and ACK's creator Alexander Macris have responded by welcoming all gamers to play their TD tabletop role-playing games.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Paizo and Watsy as well does not want this going out, but I have them, and I'm kind of glad I do. But they want to say that certain people aren't welcome to play their game. Well, I just happen to have in my hands, and I forget which one made what, I think, but I have here issue number 95 from November 2002, still preserved, still good, of Dungeon, Sex, Drugs, and Demon Lords, mature content, Sealed Book of Vile Darkness Adventure. And I also have, and that I don't have it here with me, but I have another one, a Dragon issue that's also 2 magazines that are canon for their editions that are, well, let's just say they need to take the plank out of their own eye before they can tell people they can't play their games. Let's just put it like that.
Seems to be an issue of they have new people in there who are all uptight and woke, and they're just making a big fuss to push their agendas.
Okay, but I have a question. How in the hell would they stop anybody from playing their game?
Well, it's like a lot of Linux distros. You have the leaders of the heads of the distros, and some of these are big companies. They're like, we don't want your kind using our operating system. You get a lot of that nonsense. And it's like, if you go, fuck you, I'm using it anyway, you're still helping them. So they're banking on you not helping them. Fuck, I don't know. It seems like a lose-lose situation.
That doesn't make any sense.
But here's the thing, like I often was like, well, to be fair, and this is my personal beliefs on this, like they had the right to say so. They had the right to refuse service to any kind. I believe in that. Now there are people that use that for rather disturbing, disgusting means. But if I saw a sign that said "No dragons allowed," I'll be like, okay, I'm going to take my business elsewhere and give them my money. And I'll tell all my friends, hey, this place won't let me be here because I'm a dragon. If they're saying, hey, we don't want conservatives and Republicans buying our stuff, then all conservative and Republicans and all these people are sick and that are not conservative or Republican, that are sick and tired of politics as well, are just going to take their money elsewhere. And it's been a battle going on since D&D 5e, I believe. And Paizo was originally standing up against Wizard of the Coast with their OCL. So they made ORC, which is ORC, so that's you can use the Paizo products to make your own games. And there's also the Old School Revival, reviving the original D&D, because what you see like on Stranger Things and stuff, that's not the D&D today, and as well as
Yeah.
Pathfinder 2.
I
I'm like,
I played it actually in the probably the late 80s and early 90s, but not much other than that. Mostly it was then. But then, I come today seeing everything they're doing and my mind's blown and I'm like, this everything's ruined. Everything's ruined. That's all I can
I
say.
like I never got the chance to play because I grew up on a farm. But I did get to play 3.5e a one shot, and I like the mechanics of 3.5. But I play 5e now, but I would prefer 3.5. Now I can't say I've never played 1e or 2e, so I can't say for sure on those.
I played the first Red Box one.
Oh, you play the old school one.
Uh,
I'm not sure if
I didn't.
that's old D&D. I think that's the original before the addition.
I grew up on a semi farm. It's not a full blown farm, but we had goats and pigs and ducks and a couple times horses, but we always had farm animals and I always had to tend to them. So it wasn't a full blown farm, but I can relate to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just lived out in the middle of nowhere where originally the nearest Walmart was an hour away. So I was
same way here. Yeah,
You are preaching to the choir. We
Same
are
way here.
from everywhere.
Yeah, but nowadays we have the internet, so we're still connected. I'm just talking about back before all this internet stuff.
And speaking of head injuries, I don't know about you, but every time I cracked my head open, it left a bald spot.
Mm-hmm. No, I got hit with a fire extinguisher when my Humvee blowed up.
A lot of times for me, it was in fights. I was in a lot of fights. But I'm going to continue this article here. Much of the tabletop RPG industry has a woke mind virus problem. Trashing the original founder, Gary Gygax, is one of the things they did. Mm-hmm. They incorporated BDSM with safe words and all such. They changed race with species, and they associated orcs with the Mexican culture, which is racist as fuck. Pathfinder from Paizo Games was always seen as the major alternative to Dungeons and Dragons. Unfortunately, the company has historically been more woke than Wizards of the Coast, pushing extreme leftist identity politics for a long time through pronouns in their games and worse. Now, check this picture out. This is something from Paizo.
What is that thing?
It's an alien in a wheelchair. A futuristic wheelchair. You're going to tell me, and my argument here is just like with the magic stuff. You're going to tell me that with futuristic technology, where they have mech suits and all this other stuff, they could not build robot leg braces at least so he could walk.
An exosuit, something like that.
Yeah.
Why is it not flying? Why does it have to have wheels?
Yeah, even Professor Xavier's wheelchair kind of hovered.
The thing is, with the left, it doesn't matter if it's what people try to say, right wing, anti woke. No, they're all left. The thing is they try to put everyone in a box. If you don't fit this box, you must fit that box. And so they're like, okay, we want to include the disabled. Well, I'm disabled. I don't want to play as someone who has shakes every time he draws his sword or rifle or laser pistol. I don't want to roll 4 penalty rolls for that. I want to play as a guy who can hold his sword. I want to be a freaking elf. I want to be a lizard with boobs. So let me be that. Let me be what I want to be. No one wants to be a wheelchair, a handicapped person. If you think someone wants to be that, then either they have been mind shackled, as Hypnotic would say, or you're forcing them to be so. You're limiting their creativity.
If you take a person who is wheelchair bound and has, maybe anxiety also, maybe they even have gender issues, there's a good chance that, everybody's not in their ear about it, that when they play a game like this, they want to be exactly what they're not, because it is escapism after all.
Yeah, that's the whole point of role play. You're not really, like, for example, you're not really Conan the Barbarian, But when you play a barbarian, you want to act like you're Conan the Barbarian. You know, that's the whole point. And it's one thing I love about RPGs is it gives you a different point of view that you don't already have.
Okay, this thing on the screen is Zigvigix, something like that. They, them, host Sharon and faction leader of the Advocates.
It looks more like
it's a bug.
It's it's an it. If you want to say that his race or its race does not have a gender, don't say okay, fine, it's an it. They them means plural, more than one. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go with they them. The best I can do is
looks like if it gave a blowjob, the person would be dickless.
Oh God. Oh. But
well, you know, they're all sex positive and all this, right?
But it doesn't even have a skeleton.
So this person in Pisa, whatever the fuck it's called, Jason Bolman, something else. I'm so bad with names, but says if Vance has played Pathfinder, I want him to send his books back. No space for fascist in our game.
He's doing that for virtue signaling. Not his book. They're not those books aren't there somewhere once he's bought them. That's his copy, his private property. So
yeah, I mean they still have the intellectual property, but yeah, they sure can't demand the books back.
Yeah.
The implication is that Vice President and everyone who supports him is fascist and shouldn't be allowed to play Paizo games. Several gamers wrote the Paizo in protest, and the company and Jason Bowman personally have been blocking players on X who are voicing their frustrations. Original Dungeons and Dragons designer Robert J. Kuntz replied on the topic saying no game company before TSR itself, and those after TSR up until this point has ever indicated that only select players are welcome to partake in and enjoy a game. But in today's political climate, we have all kinds of cunts.
Yeah, what's ironic is that Trump won the popular vote as well as the electoral vote. He won it all. So when he's doing this, he's only shrinking his revenue, his market.
To make matters worse, Kuntz had worked under Gary Gygax before. He made let's see, he's currently making 3 Line Studios with RPG rules and supplements he's developed after working under D&D founder Gary Gygax. So that's some nerve, really.
Okay, now correct me if I am wrong.
You're wrong.
But hush. But he's DEI. Isn't he doing the very thing that he's accusing everybody else of doing?
They all do.
Well, you see, if you're not part of the woke mind virus or any of that, you're scum. You're not human. It's just like with the Confederates and slavery. They didn't view Africans as people. You must reach this criteria to be considered human. That's what that is. So for them, they're including everyone who's not human. So therefore, they're not violating their own rules. But at the same time, they're being the very thing they said they're not.
Yeah. But it's just it makes me have ideas for a comic and later maybe turn it into a video game where you get all these woke things, woke viruses, like with Hydra heads and all this shit. Then you get other people that kill them.
What if this whole wokeness thing actually literally is a virus, but but it's not getting reported because once it's taken hold, it's kind of like a self-defeating thing. Once it's taken hold, you don't believe it's a problem. Therefore, it will never be treated.
I thought about that. And there is a virus in the animal kingdom that infects the predator's brains to where they won't go after their prey and hunt anymore, and they starve to death. In fact, they'll play with their prey and treat it like their offspring.
I also have the working hypothesis that it's it's a kill switch in the human genetics that once our population either gets too many or too sickly, it it works up some junk DNA to activate something in us to start then calling the herd. That's my working hypothesis on it.
Yeah.
I don't get that much into it. I just realized that some people were stupid and have been stupid throughout the centuries, and well,
Yeah,
they cut
in the
themselves in
end,
gene pool. So I'm like, okay, cut yourself off, and I'll teach my child and my future children how to be good to all human beings, and then we go for that. There's your grand reset right there. What was that? What they said, like the grand reset back in 2020?
yeah,
So
in the end, that's
they're
all you
causing
can
their own
do.
reset.
You can speculate on it till the day you die, and it won't change a thing. Even if somebody came out and went, "We found it, and it's this," and it was like, "What the hell am I gonna do about it?" In the end, you just gotta keep doing what you do, and that's it.
Yep.
So there's another story. Type A and Type B to be replaced with male and female in Lords of the Fallen. CI Games CEO Merrick Timinsky, I hate these names, announced that the developer will remove Type A and Type B body choices from Lords of the Fallen and replace them with male and female after nearly 90% of the respondents chose male and female from a poll. The poll recently ended and respondents overwhelmingly chose male and female, 88.4%, while body type A and B received 8.4%, and none of the above received 3.3%. With over 49,000 votes, by 88%, they don't want body type A and body type B. And I could have told them that. I mean, providing they had an unbiased poll.
Well, Elden Ring did that. Not the poll, but they had the whole body type, and someone decided to fix it with a mod called Sex Replaces Body Type in Next Bandit. I actually have that mod in my Discord, but a lot of people are going with that body type mentality, and
something like that can be easily overlooked, and it's like, so what? I'll just click the thing and go on. But they chip away at you with little thing.
It's like the big gas. We want to have 5 genders, and you're like, no, what the fuck? That's woke. So then they'll say, okay, well, how about body type A, body type B?
It's like that analogy about boiling the frog.
Yeah, or the pronouns model with Starfall. It's those little things. And I make the joke when people say my pronouns are they, them, or these, them. I was like, oh, so you failed English class. You failed. Like, it's not my fault that you failed English and grammar. I'm going to use the proper grammar. It's 2 people or more, they, them. If it's a man or a male looking person or a female looking person, it's he or she. If I don't know what gender it is, and I can't say for sure it has a gender, it's an it. Otherwise, if I don't know what gender it is, I use the archaic he.
There are some scenarios where you can also use they for a person, but not in the sense that they use it now. It is bad grammar, and it just doesn't make sense logically.
Yeah.
Okay, Elijah, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Well, speak up. Want to hear your take on it?
I've been saying your name. I've been reading your name wrong this whole time.
It's okay.
I've been saying Elijah. Is Elijah?
Elijah.
Elijah. Okay. I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
This would be like, hey, woman.
What? But I think
showtime now.
Oh god
Not
damn it.
time for shows.
I hate when Alexa does that.
I'm sorry. But I think that they need to start paying attention to people, because more and more people are starting to tell them, hey, we do not want to have to go through the mental gymnastics to figure out if you identify as male or female or a cat or a bird or whatever. It's just if you're human or a mammal, you're either male or female. And that's what this speaks to me. You know, it makes things a lot more simple, I think.
Yeah, people just don't want to acknowledge things. That's it. Now you got the feminists who don't want to be here that they're woman or female because of the male or man next to the word. And then you got people that don't want to acknowledge the fact that they'll never be the opposite gender because of chromosomes. So they want to get rid of all that. I'm like, you want to believe that you're what, the asexual semi-gorgon blob over there? Okay, fine. You be the humanoid shaped slime. That's fine. I want to be this dragon of cyberspace. I ain't gonna make you. I'm not gonna force you to call me a dragon. So don't force me to call you a Zem something or another. You believe in your make believe. I'll believe in my make believe, and no one believes in the make believe in the middle.
Yeah, the moment they're imposing on you, they're like, "You're not respecting me." It's like, motherfucker, you disrespected me the moment, for one, you introduced fantasy to me and expect me to believe it, and then secondly, trying to force me to speak a certain way. So I've been disrespected right the fuck off.
Yeah, it's how it is. Like I don't want to force people to my belief. Like I think we've already been over this earlier today, but the best way to convince people to your story isn't by force. You it's like the old saying: you can drag a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. When you force that on people, they're going to rebel. They're going to reject it. You attract more flies with honey than with vinegar, and that's the problem yourself. What they're doing is vinegar.
You know, a lot of it starts with, I don't know, whichever generation it was, is that they were raising their kids and they went, oh, we need to support them on everything. We need to pat them on the head and tell them good job on everything. And if they say something, we need to go along with it. And that just snowballed into the next generation.
It's a lot worse than that. It's a lot worse than that. It goes all the way back to the Haymarket Affair. It's really old, especially all these ideologies are that old. The anarcho-syndicalists and the anarcho-socialists, all those guys, they actually believed in it. This stuff that's actually coming out now, they believed in it. And they tried to implement it during the Haymarket riots and the first Red Scare that caused the McKinley assassination. It also was involved with the Archduke Ferdinand's assassination. That's why anarchists are not allowed to immigrate to America. If you have anarchist ties, you can't immigrate here. And then that came over, and you had the Wetterman Underground. You had the great communist awakening that was going all over the whole world in the 60s. That got shut down here in America, so they had to rebrand it again because it was there. It wasn't just Marxism. Karl Marx wasn't the only creator of communism. There's different brands. And so the boomers that believed in this stuff, because their fathers died during World War II, because a lot of boomers didn't grow up with a father. We had a lot of soldiers die in World War II, which was mostly male. So without that father influence, those individuals ended up growing without fatherly guidance, end up believing a lot of this stuff because they found surrogate parents through other adults that weren't in the war, that were anarchists or whatever, thus creating the 60s fight the man, fight the system. And then now they become the teachers and the entertainers of today, inspiring the youth and so on and so forth. So it was a snowballing effect all the way back from the Haymarket Affair when we allowed anarchists into America.
I agree with you completely. But the irony is today we're the ones fighting the power and fighting the system, only it's a whole different system and we're fighting it for wholly different reasons.
Yeah.
But
I just want to watch the world burn. That's all.
I've had those thoughts, yeah.
I have too. Get on the top of the house and light a cigarette, drink a beer, a glass of wine, or
Right.
something, and watch it all burn down.
And to all those agencies listening, no, I don't plan on blowing anything up or any such thing like that. It's just like, you just kind of want the struggle to end, and without you personally doing it.
Well,
I'm
I
just a
think-
dragon in cyberspace. How am I going to burn down a house? I live in the internet. I don't have no corporeal form, so you can good luck trying to arrest me. I live on the internet.
well,
Do you know Spyro?
That was my slave name.
Oh. But people are
How about
weary. People
That was
are
my name in the
weary of
60s.
this kind of thing. Everybody's got sick of it. They're fatigued,
Mm-hmm.
and they're starting to push back against it now.
It's kind of like going up to a random black person. You know Tyrone?
Oh God.
What'd be bad is, which one? I know 20 of them. But that's racist, I guess.
That's awful.
That's fair. All humans look the same to me. I can't tell which one apart.
Yeah. That's like a lot of people think all Asians look like Jackie Chan.
I'm not
Everybody
racist.
thought I married everyone thought my ex-wife, who's Korean, they thought she was Japanese. Like, how'd you get a hold of a Japanese woman? She gets so mad because the Koreans and Japanese have a history against each other. She'd go, "Me no Japanese," and just like start screaming in Korean. I was like, great, now I got to deal with that when I get home.
Oh God.
I'm not
'Cause
racist.
it was
I'm a
somehow it would
little-
always be my fault.
It's like, I believe whether you be black, woman, Asian, whatever, you're just as capable as anyone. But, and you could very well live up to it, and I hope you do. But in reality, it's usually not the case. And going by, the numbers game, the stats on it, it's just not the case. And that's the reason stereotypes exist, because there's some truth to it. And I didn't make it so, but it is so. And if I call it out, don't be mad at me, be mad at yourself, or be mad at them. It's, it's just the way it is.
Exactly. I just believe everyone should just chill. That's all. It's like all I wanted when I remember joining the army when the towers fell, and then coming back, and we went from a normal society where everyone didn't care what color skin we weren't even thinking about that. We all liked the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We didn't really react to this type of stuff. And I come out and I'm like, wait a minute, there's Jim Crow everywhere. What the hell happened while I was in the sand pit for 15 years?
I can't help but to think of these people who go to prison and get out after like 20 years and then have to see the world today.
They want to go back. They want to go back to prison.
No, you see, they were gay in prison, so therefore they're fine with it now. They can be like, oh, fine, I can just drop my pants down a little and I can get me a little action. That's
you
where
get
that
a lot
came
of
from,
them.
right?
You get a lot of them that are gay for the stay, if you know that saying.
Yeah. Well, that's where the whole the saggy pants comes from, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's
That's
advertising you're available.
Once people realized that fashion went away real quick. I don't see it much anymore nowadays, or not as bad, I should say.
As bad as they'll have their pants hanging like that and be wearing a belt too.
What's the point? What's the point of that? I don't get that. If you're gonna have your pants hanging down to the point where you can see your drawers, what are you gonna wear a belt for?
Exactly.
That don't make no sense.
I'm gonna go on to the next topic, and it's
Well,
continuation.
I think I know. It's an accessory, but not for holding your pants up now. It's for when Bubba decides he's come get you, he can tie you down with your own belt while he pulls your pants down. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's that kinky shit.
This next topic is a continuation of one I covered in the last stream.
Ooh.
Neil Gaiman denies sexual abuse allegations. I don't accept there was any abuse. Now, I don't know if you two recall what was said in the last stream about his allegations.
Yes, it was very
Yeah.
hard to get through.
Yeah, like it makes it very hard for me to remember the Fifth Amendment. He has his right to his story, and I want the truth more than anything. But if he did these things, I don't give a shit. What he says, if it comes out that it was force on these women, and it wasn't consensual role playing situation, that they're just taking out, they're trying to now use it against him. I have no pity for this type of thing. It's like I've seen some horrible shit. I have no words for it that can be said. Like I'm afraid to say what I really want to say live on stream. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I'll in my opinion, some of them are bitter bitches that decided they're gonna get them because maybe he cut them off the money and or the relationship went bad. But I believe some of them are absolutely true. I mean, from what information I have, that's my take on it.
And it could be. I mean, it could be. I try to remember like there's those women that string false accusations and people went to jail for it. And then there's some that are actually have done these horrible things. That's why I say I want to try. I'm trying hard to stay within the his right to respect the Fifth Amendment, while at the same time not trying to downplay the seriousness in case it was true. But in either event, the I have a hard time believing this was made up.
It says here, after New York Magazine released an interview with one of his accusers, Neil Gaiman finally responded denying any abuse occurred. New York Magazine detailing graphic and horrific details on her claims of sexual abuse against the American Gods writer. Part of the odd situation about Neil Gaiman's story is how these details have been well known for nearly a year because of the work of Tortoise Podcast and Fandom Pulse detailing the abuse allegations against Gaiman. Moreover, women have been warning about Gaiman for years, with 9 women now making allegations about him.
Okay, so
he's the advocate feminist supporter.
Okay, so women have been coming and telling people about him for years?
He was an adamant feminist supporter.
Oh.
Yes, for years. Over the past few months, this is his words. Over the past few months, I've watched a story circulate the internet about me with horror and dismay. And I'm skipping bits of it because it's long. I've now reached a point where I feel I should say something. I've never engaged in non-consensual sexual activity with anyone ever. These messages now read as they did when I received them, of 2 people enjoying entirely consensual and sexual relationships and wanting to see one another again. At the time I was in those relationships, they seemed positive and happy on both sides. And I realized looking through them years later that I could have and should have done so much better. I was emotionally unavailable while being sexually available. I've spent some months now taking a long, hard look at who I've been and how I have made people feel. Like most of us, I'm learning and I'm trying to do the work needed. And I know that's not an overnight process. Now, it sounds like he's denying everything, but it also sounds like, oh, he's been caught and it's a half-ass apology. So what do you make of it?
He's denying it without denying it all at the same time.
So he says, at the same time as I reflect on my past and as I re-review everything that actually happened as opposed to what is being alleged, I don't accept there was any abuse. Some of the horrible stories now being told simply never happened, while others have been distorted from what actually took place and they bear no relationship to reality. His response, I think, is vague for one. Also, it sounds full of guilt to me.
Is this a written response or a spoken response?
I believe it is written. Yeah, in a post titled "Breaking the Silence."
Okay. Then he didn't write that. Somebody else
Yeah.
wrote that.
Well, by trade, he is a writer, so it could have been him. I mean, okay, let's say PR, public relations of some sort, wrote it. They wouldn't have made the part where he sounds guilty, if you think about that.
Yeah. That is true. Okay, yeah, he could have wrote it, but I don't know. I mean, those allegations, I don't think those women made that shit up. I just don't. It's just, you know, and come to find out women have been speaking out trying to get him to face some kind of justice for years. And I bet what happened is a bunch of women got together, and over time they each one separately tried to say something and nobody would believe them, and then they got together and did it together.
You know
Maybe
what's
that's
bad
what happened.
is how many of these people go along their whole careers or their whole lives
Sorry about
and
that.
they
My neighbor
never
was
get
returning something he borrowed from me.
and they never get caught like this or caught up with enough. I mean, even in his case, he's been caught up with, but the worst is going to happen to him is like you can retire now with all your millions if you consider it like that.
Yeah, I know. And if he's found guilty of all this stuff, he needs to go to prison.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if there is like, court proceedings or any such on it.
Well, it's
Well,
just
then-
like the song "Lifestyle to the Rich and Famous."
Hell,
had to cash the
JJJ
thing for a
Jr.
truck grant. UJ, hello.
I never know exactly how to say that name because there's so many J's.
Well, I call him QJ because I think Sonya called him that originally. So it's just became a habit to call him QJ.
But
Awesome guy.
And this man, he's already in his 60s, and you can be sure he's a millionaire. And the only thing that's happening is, oh, you're canceled, and it's like nobody's picking up his book deals, his movie deals anymore. He can retire happy, having been the biggest fucking pervert you ever seen, and that's it. The end.
Well, in cases like this, I think that all of his assets needs to be seized and have him go into the system, basically.
Okay, I get that. I mean, he needs the harshest punishment. I would even say castration, but I would also say he shouldn't have this harsh punishment unless it's proven without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If he's proven guilty in a court of law, it's hashed out and everything's out.
I get that. And I know the law, the court systems is the only systems we have, but I don't have a lot of confidence in them.
That is true.
No,
You can
I
file
get you on that
judges and all kind of stuff.
And if it was by the opinion of man, like vigilante type action, well, that's not, that anything that's anything goes, and they don't make the brightest decisions themselves like that.
That is true. I mean, you get a mob of people together that are angry, they get real stupid.
Okay.
Just like
We'll
you get
let-
a mob of people together that are scared, they get real stupid too.
We'll let the ancient dragon decide his fate.
I don't know. I don't think I want the diseases with that meat. Just saying.
It's like, yeah, look down at the little man. Ew, no, I'm just getting away from this.
They don't need the worms.
Exactly. There's not carpets big enough for dragons to ride their butts on.
But, speaking on this kind of thing, you see more and more people that are doing just way out there kind of depraved stuff. And usually it's against children or women, or people that can't really take up for themselves. And it something's got to be eating their brains up, making them do that. Something. I don't know what, but something.
Well, it's like Lord Abbott once said, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. He's gotten famous, and that gives him a lot of power and wealth, and therefore it corrupts him, thinking he can do whatever he wants. And then sometimes this could be the other side too. It could be woman seeing a man with all this wealth and power, and she can use her feminine charms to have power over him to get what she wants. I mean, I make this joke all the time, but there's Helen of Troy, the face that launched 1,000 ships. While most of those men were conscripted, as the story goes, her beauty was well known that men took up arms and volunteered for that, even though they would never get a chance to, see her in person or date her because she's of noble blood. So I always believe that when it comes to power, it can change a person.
Oh yeah, I think
even
so
if
too.
you're even if you're a person that's like, oh, not me, it would never change me. It does it gradually. It sneaks up on you. It happens. It's human nature.
Mm-hmm.
The more I see stuff like this, the more I want to hang around the animals. At least you know where you stand with them.
Oh no, they're
And
worse.
The truth.
They're worse.
Yeah, I mean, you can have animals that are more tame and used to humans, but you just observe animals in nature. They're the epitome of toxic.
True. But you go into that knowing, you know that. So
And you consider all the stories that Neil Gaiman wrote, and they weren't all bad. I mean, it wasn't exactly my style, but some of it wasn't bad. There was American Gods, and there was Sandman, and there was so much more. I don't recall many of them, but he did some all right stuff. And what's a pity is people with talent, and then they get fame, and then they degrade to whatever fucking piece of shit slime that he degraded to. And this happens often.
yeah, it's sad really, because all that talent's just, I don't know, it's just diminished. It just, you don't want to even take part in, you don't want to buy anything they created. You don't want to see
Well,
anything made or anything.
Triple J here. One could take screenshots of Laura Croft's butt too. I remember the very first Tomb Raider came out on PlayStation 1. And I was like, I get this. It's a full 3D feel, even though it's wonky and even though it's blocky as hell. They're on to something here. And it wasn't so much the game was good, but the concept was good. In my opinion, having played it when it came out, it was crap. But the concept of what they were going for wasn't bad. That was all right. And I think it was that's the reason the game caught on, not really the game itself, in my opinion, having played the original.
Yeah.
I don't remember the original.
I barely remember the original, but I still remember the shower scene of the second.
But yeah, I hope he goes to court, and I hope he's judged by a jury of his peers. And if he is truly guilty, I hope he gets some justice.
If they were truly peers, they would probably go, so what? We do all that too. Let them go.
That is true. That is very, very true, unfortunately.
So this show, I don't think it's going to go on for a full 2 hours, but I'm going to go over one more thing here. Here it says Don Lemon is mad that Barack Obama was cordial to Trump at Jimmy Carter's funeral. These are the very same MAGA people who have called Michelle Obama a man. I'm not smiling in your face if you're calling my sister, my mother, or my wife, or my girlfriend a man. Fuck you. Any of you familiar with this? This that went on?
No.
Vaguely.
Okay.
But I will tell you.
I'll let it play. Damn, that bitch's voice is shrill.
Having lived in Russia in the first few years after Vladimir Putin took power, the debates among those who sought to oppose him, they benefited him. They benefited him because they took their own fights over their version of civility much more seriously than they took the serious structural changes that were taking place in Russia that led to the end of Russian democracy.
Structural changes, Michael, are happening.
That was
right
very
now.
well. Stop, pause,
This is
please. You guys understand what she said? Do you guys get what she said? They're trying to make people civil, right? And they're having these fights over, she goes, civility, when the structural fabric and nature of the society was deteriorating, because they're trying to figure out like what is civil and what is not, and who should be civil. And that one side is trying to get people to be civil because of their own uncivil actions rather than just words. So when you see something like what happened yesterday, people have a right to be concerned because they go, well, if they're going to do that there publicly, what are they going to say and do behind closed doors? If they're going to acquiesce seemingly like that publicly, then what does that mean in the broader sense of the structure, the fabric of our society? You have to indicate to the American people that this is not normal. That's kikiing and skinning and grinning with someone who has those that you have called a fascist over the last couple of years and the last months. That's not normal. Folks are tired of the behavior being normalized. Civility does not mean befriending people or foregoing your morals and your principles and your character. If someone disrespects my loved one, I don't have to smile in their fucking face. And they're going to know it. If Ted Cruz can't stand up for his wife that Donald Trump calls ugly, then who is he going to stand up for? Now, listen, it could be, you guys could be right. Barack Obama is classy. He's a classy guy. But these are the very same MAGA people who have called, and Donald Trump has helped promote, calling Michelle Obama a man. I'm not smiling in your face if you're calling my sister or my mother or my wife or girlfriend a man. Fuck you.
Okay, so thoughts on that?
Okay, here's my take on that. You can be civil to somebody in public and not agree with a damn thing they stand for. It's called being an adult. Unless they say or do something so damn terrible that there's no coming back from it.
Well, I actually have conflicting thoughts on it. For one, it does show that they're all, it's one big club and you're not in it. It's two wings, one bird. It shows that we're the suckers in the end. But my other thought on it, conflicting thought, isn't getting along what we're aiming for, what we're hoping for? When the two parties come to some amount of sanity together, where they, there's not an extreme right and extreme left, but rather, hey, we're working things out a little bit. Isn't that what we're hoping for? Shouldn't that be the goal?
In a way, but the thing that Lemon here forgets is that this is not Michelle Obama's funeral. This is not about, that has nothing to do with Michelle Obama. This is about a former U.S. president, in which I will personally say one of the worst U.S. presidents in U.S. history, one of. But still, at the end of the day, he was still a human being. He was still a leader of the free world. He was still in Oval Office. And he has earned a little bit of respect from both sides to where people came to his funeral. So we're showing respect. We can still be enemies, but at the end of the day, it's like that funeral is Switzerland. So are you going to be who's going to be the first one to be an asshole? If I was Obama, I'd expect Donald Trump to be the asshole and make a scene so I have ammo against him. If I was Trump, I'd expect Obama to be the asshole and make a fool of himself so I have ammo. So if you keep yourself blameless, right, in midst of everything, and the crowd is watching, because Shakespeare said, the world is a stage and the people merely actors. Well, actors need an audience. So if you keep civil, it shows that your side, or who you are, what you represent, is the better part. And that's how peace usually starts, is when two people say, okay, you may have done this and I may have done that. Let's find some common ground here. We both respect this one person. And if you can't do that, well, I hate to tell you, but I got a bridge to tell you. That's called how wars are started. Every war is started not because of God told me to invade this country or because of oil. It's because of disagreements. It's always been disagreement.
So this first comment, they have a point. Did Trump say that? Or was it just, his supporters? I mean, they conflate that, it's kind of like guilty by association thing, except this time it's kind of in reverse. Did he indeed say that? Not to my knowledge, but I don't keep up with that stuff all that much.
Oh yeah, I don't either. I won't lie. If he has said that, then I'm like, yeah. People called him a Nazi, so
yeah, it's like call him behind a curtain or behind a stage and then played nice after that.
Yeah.
Well, when you're going to somebody's funeral, there's a certain decorum, only the most ghetto shit starts, only the most ghetto of people start shit at a funeral. You just don't do that.
Yeah, emotions are high at a funeral. Of course, it's not like they really had a big connection with Jimmy Carter, but still, emotions are high at a funeral, and that is not a place where you want to stir shit up at.
Nope.
And this person has a point. Don Lemon, he's not really relevant anymore. I mean, he was a big name in news. I never really kept up with news, but I know he's a big name. He's probably rich. And he's not really relevant anymore. I would go so far as to say the majority seek alternative news.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. Oh, good Lord. Oh, God.
Wow. Well, it's like this. It's a really old cartoon from like the 40s or 50s. I don't know how old it is. I know it's old, but it was one of those Americanism propaganda ones where they were trying to talk about how they were afraid that the communists were coming here and trying to separate us by race, creed, religion, ideology, and they were selling this thing called ism, right? And this character called Peabody or something, he tells them that when someone is trying to divide us on these things, they're trying to rob us of our liberty. So, the way I see it, Don Lemon, in my personal view, is shackled in that mindset of us versus them, that he cannot see beyond the fact that a human being has died, and that two presidents, in fact, I think all the presidents, I think Bill was there, Donald Trump, everyone who's been a president is going to the funeral of a former president. So like Elazar was saying, there's a certain amount of decorum. And he's trying to keep people divided so that our freedoms and liberties are robbed. You know, like we can't make that. We're gonna be. It's like the. I'm losing the words I'm trying to say here, but it's like that one girl on Hypnocast. In the intro, she says she can't talk to her family anymore because her family voted for Trump and they don't know what's doing. She divided herself from her family because she's shackled to her beliefs rather than that her family is her family and these are living people. If I don't know if I'm coming across clearly, but that's what I'm trying to say.
I get what you're saying. One thought I had is, the president of the United States, POTUS, is one of the, possibly the highest title in the land. They're the ones who's supposed to set examples. They're the one who's supposed to have the composure, especially to one another, because they keep that title after their presidential run. I mean, unless I'm mistaken, right? So, yeah, they're supposed to represent always.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like when you go to a funeral, there's going to be some people there that you cannot stand. So what you do ahead of time is
get drunk and high.
Yeah, drink a little to calm your nerves, and then you can get through the funeral without too much of an incident.
Not drunk and not completely high, but it's enough to calm yourself.
Yeah, you have to, because some of them people, I swear to God, every family's got some where you just can't stand to be in the same room with them without saying something.
We have Furious Dan, Retro Overkill, says, "What's up, my brother Noise? What's up, Furious Dan, the furry?" No, he was looked like a fox to me, but I believe he said it was a wolf. He was a wolf earlier on Reality Based.
I won't lie, I liked his avatar. His face, the facial expression looked like he did not want to be, like he was not amused. He's just so serious.
I thought it was a fox.
It looked like a fox to me too.
It looked like, to me, it looked like a different colored, like a different skin for the Star Fox.
Yeah.
Like Fox McCloud or whatever his name. It's been so long since I played Star Fox. I used to be a big Star Fox fan. I know little Levistro is in the back of my head, probably wanting to beat me upside the stick because I can't remember Star Fox very well.
Okay, Furious Dan, is it a fox or is it a wolf?
It's a puppy.
But yeah, I mean, this person, this lemon person, is just trying to sow discord. Is just trying to keep shit started. That's all they're doing, trying to boost their ratings or something.
Yeah, it's the legacy media is dying, and that's the thing. We can't even call it mainstream anymore. Like, I haven't watched news since 2019, and most of my news at that point I was getting from Tim Pool before I got tired of him, and I just get it from YouTube, or I just turn on my phone nowadays, look on Twitter, and I see what's happening and everything else like that. I really don't care about these talking pundits.
Not unlike you, Levistro, I got heavily into politics a few years back, and I didn't like what I became when I got into it, and I just kind of shut it all off.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I still have my politics, I still have my beliefs, but people were
the media and the interaction online. Yeah,
people were just becoming nasty to each other, and I realized I was becoming the very thing I hated. So I stepped out. So if people say, "Well, what is your politics on this?" Like people ask me about, not often anymore, but when I started streaming, people ask me, "What's my politics on that?" It's like, I really not here for that. I'm just here to play a game. Like I told like I have my beliefs, and like most people know what my politics are. I'm a classic liberal. That means to me that for people who don't understand what that is, that's a true conservative, a classic liberal. I believe that everyone has the right to do whatever they want under the rule of the law.
Yeah, I mean, if you have liberals and conservatives throughout history, they've kind of at times swapped sides. They would move this way and that way.
Oh no,
and
conservatism is a mindset. It's a person who holds a significant which is to preserve an ideology or land of significance to their host culture. That's what a conservative is. An American conservative in this case would be a classic liberal because the ideologies they're wanting to preserve is the Constitution, which is written under classic liberals. Liberals today, as Ryan was pointing out, it comes from France, modern liberals. I forget the actual term for it, but it's libertaire. But it's the modern liberal. Those two schools of liberalism, the English liberalism, like John Locke, Thomas Hobbes, and those that inspired what ended up becoming the Glorious Revolution in England, which also became the ancestor to the Constitution. That's what the founders were fighting. They were fighting for their rights, to reclaim their rights.
All right, so you're using the terms more in personal politics rather than the party politics.
Yes, when someone says right wing, I look at them and say, "Are you talking about anarchy? That's literally the far right. You can no government. Or are you talking about the GOP? Do you use when someone says I'm right wing? I say, I'm sorry, I did not know you were in a General Assembly. I did not know you go to Congress. I did not know I voted for you. And when they realize, no, I support the Republicans. Oh, you're a Republican. You're on the left of me, sir.
You could say that is the blight on your average person, that they have, they skim knowledge and they have such light knowledge on anything. They just go with the last thing they heard and they run with it without any actually looking into or learning anything.
Yeah. I mean, we got a perfect example of Goonergate right there, Melanie. I mean, we don't have to go further into that. Everyone's talking that one down to the ground. But it's a perfect example of what you're saying. People don't research what they're talking about or what they really believe. They just
think critically about it.
If you read the founders didn't want parties. Like if you read the Federalist Papers and George Washington's Farewell Address, they warned literally Trump. They learned. Now, I'm not saying like Trump is a bad person, but like what happened during Trump's presidency, his impeachment, all that stuff, was two parties having revenge against each other. They warned that. That's what caused the fall of Rome. That's what caused the fall of Greece. That caused the fall of the Holy Roman Empire. All this stuff was political parties.
Yeah, and at the rate they're stirring up the people and polarizing them to extreme sides and then pitting them on each other, it could be the doom of us all, literally.
Yeah, I mean, I can pull that up. I just can't remember which. I know it was Hancock. I think it was Hancock. Hamilton said it, but I can't remember the thing verbatim. But it was in the Federalist paper, and he said, "One cannot look to the republics of Italy and Greece, but with disgust at the way they perpetrated their constituents from the extremes of tyranny and anarchy." And that's literally what's happening today.
Kind of slightly off topic from that. That saying, I believe it was, I don't know if it's from a book, but it's associated with World War II. First they came from these people and I didn't care, it wasn't me. And then they came from these. Well, that's what I see today with the LGBTQ and all the wokeness. There's too many fence sitters. There's too many people. It's like, it doesn't affect me. So, and that's what's going to happen. One day it's going to affect them. And then they're going to turn to somebody and be like, oh, fuck, it's already got you too. Oh, it's already got everybody. I'm far too late. I just waited till it came to me.
I fought my wars. I swore an oath to defend the Constitution, and Congress decided that it had to be a UN war. People say, oh, we went to the war for oil. Yeah, but who controls the oil market? It's not the US, it's the United Nations. Because when we captured Saddam Hussein, we found out the Food for Oil program. And the Food for Oil program was the UN program.
I have limited knowledge on it, but from what I have skimmed over it, the UN has America by the balls.
Yeah. We're seen by the rest of the world as the UN's police force. Whenever the UN comes in, they either declare a ceasefire, or if they can't get what they want, well, where do you think? But and I'm not defending Bush here, but where do you think Bush's anonymous source was? Because what happened shortly before, when after the Twin Towers fell, and we were trying to get onto our Afghanistan, we were sending flyers by the CIA saying, "Wanted dead or alive, Osama bin Laden for $1 million." Shortly after we decided to push in Afghanistan, we weren't getting support from other countries. Saddam Hussein kicks out the UN weapons inspectors, and that was in the Associated Press on the papers. I remember this very well. And then shortly after that, we hear an anonymous source that Saddam has weapons of mass destruction. And then
myself, I don't know about you, but from day one, I didn't buy that.
Yeah, I'm saying. Then after that, then also we had support from every other country in the world, as long as we spearheaded the attack on Iraq. So that tells you exactly who's controlling the oil market, who's actually controlling everything. And you can say I'm a conspiracy theorist. Well, I just gave you all my references for everyone else.
All the weapons they have, we gave them. Us as a country gave them.
Well, here's another thing. They weren't exactly false too, but when I say weapons of mass destruction, you're probably thinking a nuke, right? Nuclear weapons. A weapon of mass destruction is something that can kill 3 or more people. That's the actual definition.
A dildo could kill 3 people.
That's the actual definition. It's either 3 or more or 5 or more. It's basically a small number, but that's what it is. Basically, a machine gun is a weapon of mass destruction because it can literally take out a whole squad. So
yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah, but here's another thing people forget: Congress votes for war, and Congress has not voted for war since World War II. So how are we always in all these wars?
Yeah, and have you noticed those numbers when they the yearly war fund, the Congress approves? I don't even remember the numbers, but it's in the billions, yearly. It's okay, I get America's surrounding every other country on earth like guard dogs, but these numbers are ridiculous. I'm sure.
Most of the military budget is healthcare. That's literally it. If you want to know if we did a public healthcare, like they wanted to do in the beginning, like they wanted Medicare for all that stuff. If you want to know what our national budget would be like, take the military budget and multiply that by the current national debt, and that's how much national debt we will have with that kind of healthcare. If you want to know what that kind of healthcare is, look at look at every VA facility. You cannot. There are dentists who have given veterans STDs because they did not properly wash their equipment. And did they lose their job? No, they just moved to another area. A VA doctor has malpractice, they just move them to another VA. That's the government healthcare system. I'm lucky enough to be able to be on a 90-day plan where if they can't find me a VA doctor in 90 days, I make sure they can't. Then I go and have a civilian doctor. Because I'm not letting them fuck with my medication. That kind of child to raise on my own. I got to make sure that I stay focused on that.
The government and the Army and all such, as an extension, have a long history of basically experimenting with people.
My grandfather,
sometimes good, sometimes bad. I was one of the first VA one of the first test subjects for can video games help veterans with PTSD. So I will admit they do experiment.
My grandfather, he was in the Air Force back in the late 40s. Late 40s and 50s, and he was a Secret Service, and he would let it slip sometimes that they would he was around when they would do the LSD experiments on the soldiers and stuff like that.
And was that Operation Paperclip?
Excuse me?
Is that Operation Paperclip? I can't remember. It sounds
It
familiar.
was part of it. And then he said that he didn't go into great detail because he couldn't speak on it, but he would also say that they would have the soldiers line up in front of the med clinics, and before they would go out on maneuvers, they would get shots, and it would turn off their humanity so they would be better killing machines. And he said that the doctors and stuff would tell them that it was vitamin and mineral supplements for whatever area they were going into. But no, it turned off their humanity in a lot of cases. And if you refuse the treatment, you got court-martialed and stuff like that.
Yeah, soldiers can defy orders, but it's at your own risk. That's the thing. It's like if you know something's illegal, soldiers can we don't, like, the United States Army doesn't have a I was just following orders thing. So when you do something and you know a bad an illegal order, you have the right to disobey it. But it can also be twisted against you, where someone say, "Oh no, I didn't tell him to go shoot all civilians. I said go round up the civilian."
Yeah.
You have to be careful on. You have to make sure the order was clear, that you know the intent, and that you can make sure your case, because you're going to the military court system is not like the American court system. In America, it's innocent until proven guilty. In the military, it's guilty until proven innocent. You're automatically guilty, and you have to prove your innocence.
Well,
and so it's then I didn't go for a court martial, but I kind of had to go through that when I accused my commanding officer of saying PTSD was a myth, and that's why I was arrested, because I got drunk and had a flashback and really hurt someone and woke up in a jail cell. So I barely made that out alive, and the only thing that the only thing that helped me was back to my reputation in the past.
So I gotta ask you, you seen combat in your time?
Yes. I don't like talking about it, but yes.
Yeah, that's why I put it vague, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. But it's the reason why I don't, like, when someone says that America is at fault and we fought for all, it's like, no, it's the UN. Not once since, well, I guess my great grandfather, or even my grandfather's generation, we fought for American interests. We fought for UN interests. We fought for the world interest. You tell me what was pro-America about the Vietnam War. I understand the Korean War. We had a peace treaty with the Koreans that we had to honor. That was part of our peace treaty. But we didn't have to be in Panama. We didn't have to be in Vietnam. We didn't have to be in Iraq, Afghanistan, Kuwait, none of that.
Well, I can see more wars being fought by drones and all such, but there's always going to be death. Otherwise, they're not going to have any power over anyone. So they're going to, hit them where it hurts always.
Yeah. Well, I'm against drones. Obama ordered a drone to blow up a wedding because a terrorist was there.
Yeah. I've heard some about, Obama. People's like, oh, he was a good president. Are you fucking serious?
And to be fair, George Bush,
to my knowledge, to my knowledge, he was possibly one of the worst modern presidents, to my knowledge, which I'm not like.
When you take the human factor out and have AI soldiers and robotic soldiers, right? Then there's no cost to war other than who can make the robots faster. There's no cost. There's the whole point of the Tree of Liberty must be watered with the blood of patriots has a reason for that. It's not, oh, we need to have our soldiers lay down their lives for our country. No, it's we love our country so much we're willing to give our life for our country if need be. Otherwise, we should not fight for war. I'm not a pacifist. I'm not anti-war. Rather, I am anti-senseless war.
Well, I've always been like, I'll fight. If somebody messes with me or my family, I'll fight to the death without a second thought. I'll be on them before you know it. But when some rich motherfucker. Some politicians be like, you got to go to war now. It's like, I don't trust your reasoning. I don't know why you got into this. What the fuck am I going to do this for you for?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, they could have got drunk and over a card game and insulted the other one, and everybody's going to get blown to pieces for it.
Well, see, Congress has not, like I said before, Congress has not voted for war since the 1940s. So when people say, "Oh, I didn't want this war, I did not want this," like, then why did you vote for that person? Why don't you ask them why y'all did not call for a vote and you were sending troops there? Why don't you ask them to call a vote on the floor? And you know why they won't? Political suicide. The moment they call for a vote for war, or and everyone agrees to, and let's just say everyone agrees to call for war, if you vote yes or no, regardless of what you believe, that's political suicide. That means that their career as a politician is over, which was the whole intent of the Constitution.
I'm always nervous that these presidents who really don't want to go out of power at the very last second, they'll start a war because, if the war is in progress, a president stays in power.
Not really. The president is the commander of the troops, but it's Congress and the Senate that pursues the war. Like, for example, the only thing that's right now that scary power that the president has was from Congress giving authority, but the U.S. president can call a drone strike without alerting Congress or the Senate, as long as he gives 24 hours notice about it after the fact. As long as he's done that, he will not get in trouble. But other than that, anything he does has to be approved by Congress. So if he wants to go to war, he has to talk to Congress. When he goes to war, he has to have approval for what his plans are through Congress. But there will come a day, because they don't want to lose their power. They've already done the War Powers Act, the Patriots Act, all these other acts that gives the president so much power. There'll be a day, one day, and it's going to be, in my view, it's going to be hundreds of years from now, unless people wake up. There'll be a day when we'll have an American Julius Caesar walking through Rome with his own troops. And
I would not be surprised.
America is the new Rome.
Well, America's always been Rome. When America faces great change, even in the 1700s, they look to Rome.
You do have a point. And they model a lot more than you might realize. They model after Rome.
Yeah. And the founders did that for a reason, to remind you of the Republic. We're supposed to remember we're a Republic, why we are a Republic, and what happened to the Roman Republic, and try to prevent that. Problem is, 60% of Americans don't know their civic history. That's across all party lines and generations. This is the reason why I talk history.
I don't even think they teach civics in school anymore.
Oh, my son knows his civics and what the school doesn't teach him. Like my son's school is one of the unique public schools because they teach the state and national history to students. So he knows things that I forgot about or I don't remember. And then what they don't teach him, I make sure he learns. Like he's learning about the Great Awakening from me because they don't teach that in school. All right, because the Great Awakening was those famous pastors that went all over the colonies, scaring them into fire and brimstone. And during that time period, the founding fathers were children. That's what caused them to grow up to be the men they were. Because Benjamin Franklin was one of the oldest, and he wasn't big into that. And then you have the guy who wrote Thomas Paine, because he came from England after the Great Awakening. Those two men were the only ones that were different from the founding fathers.
Yeah, I guess that's the argument that could be had is everybody goes back to the founding fathers and how they wanted things and how it was meant and the Declaration and all that. But should it be changed at any point? And most people say no because they thought it's a good system and any variation would be bad. I guess the question comes up is could there be a good variation which at least more than half the people could agree on?
I think the way humanity is today, in my personal humble opinion, humans are more stupid today than they were in the 1700s.
Oh yeah,
definitely. They think tribal. They don't have deep thoughts. If you read these founding fathers, like the founding fathers' own letters and thoughts, they wrote essays in a letter. We just send barely text saying I'm gonna be late. Okay. Like that's what we talk. And if you try to have a deep conversation, most people have a hard time having those conversations because they're not reading, they're not studying, and so they don't have the mental fortitude that they had in the 1700s. Sure, we have a lot more tech, but we're losing our
I definitely see that they were masterful at what they did then, including writing, grammar, and understanding. They were just more masterful. Now, even from the time of my childhood to the children of today, there's been such a great loss in intellect and reasoning and so on.
You have a good night, Furious Dan. And yeah, I just saw my time. I'm gonna have to head out soon.
Yeah, that's okay. We're at the end of the show anyway.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it was fun hanging out with you guys.
Well, we appreciate you coming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for any viewers, we got, like and subscribe and follow and hit the bell and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
And we're happy to have our guest Levistro, the Purple Dragon.
Glad to be here. It was a lot of, like I said, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you can catch me. I'm a regular on Reality Based. I'm on there 3 times a week, and I do my own stream twice a week, and I have daily videos. Levistro also has a gaming channel. He plays games. He's a passionate and avid gamer, and he also has a deep understanding of history and politics. But
you can also find me picking on John a lot on Reality Based. I love picking on him.
Okay, and anybody got anything else to say before we go?
No, just make sure you give Noise a nice like and subscribe. He needs it. I mean, he's got more followers than me, but he gets good content. I don't always get to watch, but this is one of those times. This is one of those rare times where I get to watch people again. So,
how about you, Elijah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're part of this too.
I know. I was waiting on the dog to start barking again so I could tell her to shut up.
Okay.
Thank you for watching, everybody. And it was a lot of fun. And like and subscribe and donate if you can. And we'll see you on the next one.
Yes, I do have a donate link around somewhere. It'll either be the bot, whatever advertiser will be in the comments on descriptions. Anyway, we're out. Till next time, later, and keep bringing the noise.
Happy.
Your feelings can't fuck off, you non-binary bitch. Telling everyone we're wrong while you sexualize kids. Keep your pronouns in your pants, this ain't the time or place. Unless you think you can dance, I'll punch that confused face. My pronoun is pimp.